بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على السيد الحبيب المصطفى وعلى آله وأصحابه نجوم الهدى قادة التقى اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضى عدد ما تحب وترضى كلما ذكره الذاكرون وكلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا ومشايخنا ووفقنا لما تحب وترضى من القول والعمل وجنبنا الفواحش والمعاصي والخطايا والزلل اللهم اثرنا ولا تؤثر علينا اللهم اعطنا ولا تحرمنا اللهم أكرمنا ولا تهنا اللهم ارضنا عنك وارض عنا اللهم أصلح لنا شأننا كله لا إله إلا أنت أما بعد وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما يزال البلاء بالمؤمن والمؤمنة في نفسه وولده وماله حتى يلقى الله تعالى وما عليه خطيئته. Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, a Muslim, male or female, a mu'min or a mu'mina, remains subject to trials in this world in respect of his own self, his body, his children, his or her property, until he or she faces Allah, the Exalted One, meaning on the Day of Judgment. And this meeting with Allah will be in such a state that all of his or her sins have been forgiven, expiated, none of them are left upon him. We are reading the Babu Sabr, chapter of patience. We have done 48 hadith, now we are into the 49th hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Bala, meaning test, trial, musibat, keeps afflicting a person in his body, meaning health deteriorating, pains, fever, headache, arthritis, diabetes, sugar, blood pressure. These sicknesses, they are trials from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They come upon a person, man or woman. Similarly, trials within children, meaning children falling ill, taking them to the doctors, hospital appointments, running around, sometimes accident, death. So these trials keep coming, and also with regards to wealth and property, something happening, burglary, theft, things going missing. So something with regards to properties, these trials and tests, something going wrong in the house, boiler breaking down, fridge not working, freezer not working, similar things like that, test upon test, musibat upon musibat, until this person meets Allah in such a state that he has no sins left on him. All his sins are forgiven. How? Because of his sabr upon that musibat. And when you are patient upon the musibat, Allah wipes away your sins. You must have heard that beautiful hadith when this ayat was revealed. مَنْ يَعْمَلْ سُوءًا يُجْزَ بِهِ وَلَا يَجِدْ لَهُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ وَلِيًّا وَلَا نَصِيرًا. Whosoever commits an evil will have to pay for it. So Sayyiduna Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, if we are going to be held to account for every mistake and every sin, then we are doomed, we are destroyed. We can't be saved from the fire of Jahannam, we will have to pay for it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, here jaza and this repayment is not with the azab and punishment of Jahannam. It includes any trial and musibah that afflicts a person in this dunya, to the extent that if a person is walking and a sharp stone hits, he gets struck by that in his soul, or a thorn or something pricks him, and he feels that pain. Oh, what happened? This thorn has pricked my soul, and he is hurt, and he tries to get it out. Then even for this, his sins are wiped out. With regards to humma, fever, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, fever gets rid of the sins just as in autumn the leaves fall from the trees. Similarly, a person's sins wash away and fall away from him through fever when a person is afflicted by fever. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said these types of trials keep coming and his sins are wiped out, clean, washed away, until when he dies, he's got no sins left on him. So he won't have to go to Jahannam for punishment. Allah will reward him with Jannah over there. So this is the reward for the sabr upon musibat which afflicts a person. That is why the poet said, لا تيأسن عند النوب من فرجة تجلو الكرب فلكم سموم هب ثم جرى نسيما وانقلب والسحاب مكروه تنشى فاضمحل وما سكب ودخان خطب خيف منه فما استبان له لهب وترج من روح الإله لطائفا لا تحتسب. So we always have to be patient and do sabr. Over here in this book, many incidents of sabr are being narrated by the author. For example, Khalaf ibn Ismail says, I saw a person who was afflicted by juzam, leprosy. His hands and his feet and most of his body had been torn to pieces. But still he was saying, وَعِزَّتِكَ لَوْ أَمَرْتَ الْهَوَامَ فَتَقْتَسِمُنِي مُضَغًا مَزْدَدْتُ لَكَ إِلَّا صَبْرًا وَعَنْكَ إِلَّا رِضًا. O Allah, if you were to send upon me the reptiles, the snakes and scorpions, and they were to bite me and eat up my flesh, by flesh, eat piece of my flesh, I will only increase in sabr and I will only increase in being pleased with you in pleasure. My sabr and my rida will not decrease. Khalaf ibn Ayyub says, I saw a person who was afflicted by trials and he was saying, إن كنت إنما ابتليتني لتعرف صبري فأفرغ علي صبرا يبلغني رضاك عني. O Allah, if you have tested me so that you may check my patience, then you give me sabr so that I can reach that stage of your pleasure and attain your pleasure from you. وإن كنت إنما ابتليتني لتثيبني وتأجرني وتجعل بلاءك لي سببا إلى رحمتك بي فمن من عبادك أعظم منة ونعمة مننت بها علي إذ رأيتني لاختبارك لها أهلا فلك الحمد على كل حال فأنت أهل كل خير وولي كل نعمة. And if you have tested me so that you may reward me through patience, and this can be a means of attaining your rahmah and mercy, then who among your servants is more favored and more beloved to you than myself, because you saw that I have the ability, I am fit to be tested by you. So all praise belongs to you in all conditions. I am happy in the condition which you have kept me. You are powerful and you have all the good in your hand and all the blessings and bounties in your hands, O Allah. Khalaf ibn Ayyub says, I saw a person who was afflicted by trials, and he was saying, As-sabru ala minan al-rijal ashaddu min as-sabri ala ma bi min al-bala. That being patient on human beings' favors is harder than being patient on this bala and musibat which is upon me. Meaning people do favor to you and they remind you, I did this favor to you, I did this favor to you. He said this is harder than being sabr upon what condition I am in and which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put me. So this is their state with regards to sabr. Bakr ibn Humran says, this lady was brought to a zalim tyrant, and that zalim ordered that both her hands be chopped off and both her feet be chopped off and her eyes be branded with hot metal iron. When she heard this sentence, she said, Alhamdulillahi ala sarra'i wal dharra'i wa ala al-afiyati wal bala'i. All praise is due for Allah upon happiness and upon distress, upon afiyat and peace and security, and upon trial and test. قَدْ كُنْتُ أُؤَمَّلُ فِي اللَّهِ مَا هُوَ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ هَذَا. I was hoping for Allah for even more severe test than this. Bakr ibn Humran says, فَلَمَّا قُطِعَتْ جَعَلَ الدَّمْ لَا يَرْقَى فَأَحَسَّوِتْ بِالْمَوْتِ. When her hands and feet were cut off, the blood kept on flowing, and she realized that she won't be surviving and she is going to die. So she said, حَيَاتٌ كَدِرَةٌ وَمِيتَةٌ طَيِّبَةٌ لئن نلت ما أملت يا نفس من جزيل ثواب الله لقد نلت سرورا دائما لا يضرك معه كدر عيش ولا ملاحات الرجال في الدار الفانية. She said, this life was a life filled with problems, and this death is a beautiful death for me. O nafs, O my ego, if you have achieved what you wanted from the great reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you have attained eternal happiness. And this short life, which was full of trials, will not harm you in the least, nor these people's swearing and abusing of you in this darefani temporary world, it will not harm you. ثُمَّ طَرَبَتْ حَتَّى مَاتَتْ. Then she kept on shaking until she breathed her last. Malik ibn Dinar rahmatullahi alayhi sometimes used to cry and make his companions cry as well. And he would say, اصبروا على طاعته فإنما هو صبر قليل وغنم طويل والأمر أعجل من ذلك. If you have to be patient upon obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then be patient. Because this life is very short and sabr qaleel, and the rewards of this life, patience, are immense and huge, and eternity of hereafter, that tawil ghanimat, and the reward will be given to Allah, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. So hope for that reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdullah ibn Mubarak used to say, Man sabara fama aqalla ma yasbiru, wa man jaza'a fama aqalla ma yatamatta'u. Whoever is patient, then he only has to be patient for a brief amount. And whoever screams and whoever complains, then even after complain, how much more is he going to enjoy? This life is only temporary, so why complain? Be patient and do sabr, and Allah will reward you for your sabr. And do not complain upon any musibat and bala and test that comes upon you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qatada used to say, As-sabru min al-iman bimanzilati al-yadayni min al-jasad. Man lam yakun sabiran ala al-bala, lam yakun shakiran ala al-na'ma. Walau kana as-sabru rajulan lakana kariman jamilan. Sabr with iman is like both hands in the body. Both hands are important for the body, so sabr is also important for the body. Whoever does not do sabr upon any trial, and whoever does not do shukr upon Allah's blessings and bounties, whoever doesn't do sabr won't do shukr as well. And if sabr was a human being, then he would be a very beautiful, noble person. So sabr is something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses upon those whom He likes. This hadith says, when a person is patient, then his sins are wiped out, and he goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a state that he is clean. Some muhaddithin say that through sabr only saghair are wiped out. Others say no. Saghair and kabira, both major and minor sins, both are wiped out upon patience by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Moving on to the next hadith. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال قدم عيينة بن حصن فنزل على ابن أخيه الحر بن قيس وكان من النفر الذين يدنيهم عمر رضي الله عنه وكان القراء واصحاب مجلس عمر رضي الله عنه مشاورته كهولا كانوا شبانا فقال عيينة لابن أخيه يا ابن أخي لك وجه عند هذا الأمير فاستأذن لي عليه فاستأذن فأذن له عمر فلما دخل قال هي يا ابن الخطاب فوالله ما تعطينا الجزل ولا تحكموا فينا بالعدل فغضب عمر رضي الله عنه حتى هم أن يوقع به فقال له الحر يا أمير المؤمنين الله تعالى قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين وإن هذا من الجاهلين فوالله ما جاوزها عمر حين تلاها وكان وقافا عند كتاب الله تعالى رواه البخاري. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu relates that Uyayna ibn Hisn Fazari came to Medina Munawwara and stayed with his nephew Sayyiduna Hurr ibn Qais radiallahu anhu. And Hurr ibn Qais was one of those fortunate people who were very close to Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. And he had the privilege to join the councils of Umar radiallahu anhu. So Uyayna said to his nephew Hurr, dear nephew, you are quite close to Amir al-Mu'mineen and you sit in his company. Will you obtain permission for me to see him special time so in privacy I can talk to him as well? So Hurr ibn Qais said, okay. He asked Umar radiallahu anhu to give some special permission for his uncle Uyayna ibn Hisn. Hazrat Umar granted the permission. When Uyayna came before Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, he addressed Umar in an insulting manner. He said, Oi, you son of Khattab, you do not grant us much money, nor do you treat us and deal with us fairly and justly. You oppress us and you are unjust. Na'udhu billah. Now upon this comment, Sayyidina Umar was really annoyed. And Sayyidina Umar attempted to smack him. And Hurr ibn Qais came in the middle and he said, oh, please. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told his Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Hold on to forgiveness and enjoin kindness and turn away from the jahils and ignorance. And then he said, oh Sayyidina, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, this one Uyayna is also from the ignorant and jahils, please let him off. So Hurr ibn Qais says that as soon as I recited this ayat, Sayyidina Umar calmed down and he never moved from his seat, and Umar was strictly a follower of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the translation of the hadith. Meaning of the hadith is clear. That Uyayna ibn Hassan Fazari was not a good man. He had no special sitting with Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. In fact, during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well, he once came to the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, knocked on the door, asked for permission. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, who is it? And they said, it's Uyayna ibn Hisn ya Rasulullah. Said, oh, bisa akhul ashira. He's a very bad person. Never mind, let him in, because he was a leader of his community. So Rasulullah was not rude. So he said, okay, let him in. So he came in and Rasulullah was nice to him, kind to him. And then he left. Aisha radiallahu anha asked, Ya Rasulullah, what is this? You made this remark and then you were well, nice and kind to him. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ya Aisha, إن من شر الناس عند الله يوم القيامة من ودعه الناس اتقاء فحشه. Among the most evil people to Allah on the day of Qiyamah will be such a person from whose rudeness and foul-mouthedness people are scared and they show him some kindness. Meaning, this person is also an evil person, but I wanted to warn you, so that you people don't think that he's a nice person just because I am kind to him. So I warned you beforehand so that you may realize that he's not a good person, but sometimes you have to show some goodness to a bad person as well to refrain and protect yourself from his evils. So Uyayna was not a good person. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu had become Khalifa, Uyayna ibn Hisn Fazari was with his people, and Na'udhu Billah, he became murtad, an apostate. Then Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu had sent an army in those areas. Uyayna ibn Hisn was caught and he was brought to Medina Munawwara and he said, I'm doing tawbah, tawbah, tawbah. I am becoming Muslim again, la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu let him off. But the children of Medina used to make jokes of him, fun of him. So, during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, he came to Medina Munawwara and he was a guest at Hurr ibn Qais' house. Hurr ibn Qais was his nephew. He was a nice person, intelligent man. He was also among the leaders. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu used to keep him close and he used to make mashwara with these good people. So Uyayna said, can you get me some appointment with Umar so I can talk to him? So Hurr thought that he might say something nice, good. Umar will be pleased. So he took an appointment. However, when Uyayna ibn Hisn came in majlis of Umar radiallahu anhu, he was abusive. Rather than saying something nice, he said, Oi, you son of Khattab, you know, you don't give us plenty of money, you are stingy, you are bakhil, and you are unjust, you are zalim, you don't make insaf and justice among people. Umar, he got up, what you do? Insulting me? Is this why you came to see me? And Umar was going to get up from his place and about to get hold of him and seize him. You nalayak, you behave in this manner? Now Hurr ibn Qais immediately came over, please. You know, Allah Pak has said to his Prophet, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Hold on to pardon, meaning pardon people, let them off. And وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ, enjoying good, tell people to do good, and turn away from the jahils and ignorance. He is a jahil, so turn away from him, don't pay any attention to him, please. So Umar immediately sat down. This shows the sabr of Umar radiallahu anhu even upon anger. He was angry, but he controlled his anger. So this hadith in Babu Sabr to teach us that even if someone makes us angry, we have to control our anger and calm down, take things into perspective, keep cool, and don't take your anger, frustration out upon other people. This is the meaning of the ayah. There is a hadith narrated that then when this ayat was revealed, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked Jibreel, Ya Jibreel, ma haza? What is the meaning of this? And Jibreel said, I will have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and bring the answer. So he went and returned and then he said, Inna rabbaka ya'muruka an tasila man qata'aka wa tu'tiya man haramaka wa ta'fuwa amman zalamaka. Your Rabb is instructing you that you should join relations with those relatives who cut them off. And you should give to those who deprive you. And you should pardon those who oppress you. Subhanallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this in a hadith, صِلْ مَنْ قَطَعَكَ وَعْفُ عَمَّنْ ظَلَمَكَ وَأَحْسِنْ إِلَى مَنْ أَسَاءَ إِلَيْكَ. Join relations with those relatives who cut them off with you. Your brother, your uncle, your auntie, even your father, your mother. If they are not good to you, they are not kind to you, nice to you, that does not mean that you can also behave with them like that. No, they have rights. So even if they don't treat you fairly, you have to treat them fairly. Why? Because on the day of Qiyamah, they will be asked about their conduct and you will be asked about your conduct. Just because your brother, your uncle, your family members treated you badly, it does not give you the green light to treat them badly as well. You have to treat them in a good manner. You have to join relations with them. You have to be on speaking and good terms with them. Another hadith explains this. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لَيْسَ الْوَاصِلُ بِالْمُكَافِي وَلَكِنَّ الْوَاصِلَ الَّذِي إِذَا قُطِعَتْ رَحِمُهُ وَصَلَهَا. A wasil is not he who repays his wasl. Meaning, if my brother is nice to me, I will be nice to him. If he is bad to me, I will be bad to him as well. So this is not joining relationship. You are only repaying for what good he is doing to you. Wusul and joining and being nice is when that person is bad to you and still you are nice to him. This is silman qata'ak. And this is sila rahmi, and joining the kinship and relationship and being nice to your relatives. So, even if your relative cuts off the ties with you, you still join the ties with him and you still be nice to him. This is in good akhlaq, and this is in good manners and good ethos. The second thing is وَتُعْطِيَ مَنْ حَرَمَ. If someone deprived you, then you don't deprive him, you give him. This Sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I have a cousin in another town. When I go to him, he doesn't show me any hospitality. If I ask him for something, he doesn't give me and he deprives me. But when he comes over here, he stays at my house and he asks me as well. So, should I treat him nicely or should I give him a taste of his own medicine? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no. Don't be bad to him. Treat him well. Treat him nicely. Maybe that would teach him a lesson, and next time he will also be nice to you. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, don't give him a taste of his own medicine, but be nice to him, be kind to him. This is وَتُعْطِيَ مَنْ حَرَمَ. If someone doesn't give you, you still give him. If your parents don't give you, you give them. You be nice to them. And وَتَعْفُوا عَمَّنْ ظَلَمَ. If someone does zulm upon you, you let them off, pardon them, forgive them. Even if he's been unjust to you, oppressed you, still you pardon them. You know, we Muslim Ummah are extremely forgiving people. You know, if we look at our history, people have, done so much zulm upon the Muslim Ummah, but every time Muslims have forgiven them. Even, if you go into the 6th, 7th Hijri, when the Crusaders took hold of Baytul Maqdis, and they ruled it for 80 years. And when they had come, they had caused so much bloodshed. But when Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi rahmatullahi alayhi took back Baytul Maqdis from them, he never treated anyone badly. He was extremely just and fair and kind to everyone over there. And forgive and forget. Whatever happened in the previous 80 years, we have forgiven you. We don't want to hold you to account. Whoever did, they will pay their hisab and their reckoning on the day of Qiyamah. But over here, we have forgiven you. So Rasulullah said, be forgiving, be a nice person, develop that nature of forgiveness in you. This is the meaning of this ayah. Imam Ja'far As-Sadiq says, لَيْسَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ آيَةٌ أَجْمَعُ لِمَكَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْآيَةِ. In the Quran, the most comprehensive ayah for mannerisms and good akhlaq is this one. خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Very nice ayah. It teaches you good akhlaq and good manners. So there is the patience in there which is being taught to us. Next hadith. وعن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إنها ستكون بعدي أثرة وأمور تنكرونها قالوا يا رسول الله فما تأمرنا قال تؤدون الحق الذي عليكم وتسألون الله الذي لكم. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم says, surely after me there will be discrimination and you will observe things yet you will disapprove, you won't like. A Sahabi asked, Ya Rasulullah, what do you command us to do in such a situation? He said, discharge and fulfill your duties and supplicate to Allah for His bounties. Meaning, be patient. Because Babu Sabr. After I died, Rasulullah said that, look, I have been fair to you, I treat everyone equally. But slowly as time passes on, there will be Khulafai Rashideen who will be nice and kind and fair and following my sunnah. But after these Khulafai Rashidin pass away, rulers will come and who will be very unjust, who will cause discrimination, who will discriminate against people, who will give preference to their own family members over others. Just because he's their son or their family member, they will give them more money, give them more position, more jobs, promotion, and they won't give to other people who deserve that promotion and that job and that money. This type of discrimination, prejudice, racism will come. But it's going to happen. Such rulers will come. Sahabi asked, Ya Rasulullah, what should we do in those circumstances? Should we get up and confront those rulers and remove them? Rasulullah said, no. تؤدون الحق الذي عليكم وتسألون الله الذي لكم. You fulfill your duty, and for your right and haqq, ask Allah. That, oh Allah, this is our haqq, and this ruler is not giving us, please help us and give us our haqq. So be patient, don't take arms and go against and cause a coup and rebellion against the ruler. No, don't do that. Or no matter whatever they do, be patient and do sabr. وعن ابي يحيى وسيد بن حذين رضي الله عنه ان رجل من الانصار قال يا رسول الله لا تستعملني كما استعملت فلانا قال انكم ستلقون بعدي اثرة فاصبروا حتى تلقوني على الحوض. One Ansari Sahabi said, Ya Rasulullah, will you not appoint me as an executive governor as you have appointed so and so? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, you will see discrimination after I am gone. But be patient till you meet me on the banks of the Kawthar fountain in Jannah, in paradise. Ya Rasulullah, will you not appoint me? Meaning, you have sent Muaz ibn Jabal as the governor of Yemen. You have sent Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu as the governor of so and so place. And you have sent so and so Amr ibn al-As over there. So will you not also use me? Because I am also an elderly person, I have ability as well. So send me, make me an executive governor. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you will see some discrimination after me. What is the connection between the question and the answer? The question is, make me an executive, make me a governor. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, you will see discrimination after me. He is trying to say that when a person becomes an executive, a governor, a ruler, he begins to discriminate against people. So I am scared that you might also start discriminating, and then your sawab and your reward will reduce. So I don't want you to be a ruler governor. Be patient. But do what you are doing, that is better for you. So he said, but he used the words that discrimination will come after me. So you have to be patient until you meet me on Hawz Kawthar. Now in this sentence there is a mu'jiza of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because he informed the Sahaba of something that was going to come. Because Sahaba passed away and afterwards this discrimination did take place. There were people who used to discriminate. And this Sahabi was an Ansari, Usayd ibn Huzayr radiallahu anhu. And discrimination was done against the Ansar. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, O Ansar, this will happen to you. So be patient at that time until you meet me on Hawz Kawthar, and there inshallah you will be rewarded for your sabr and your patience. So finally, last hadith. وعن ابي ابراهيم عبد الله بن ابي اوفى رضي الله عنهما ان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في بعض ايامه التي لقي فيها العدو انتظر حتى اذا مالت الشمس قام فيهم فقال يا ايها الناس لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو واسالوا الله العافيه فاذا لقيتموهم فاصبروا واعلموا ان الجنه تحت ظلال السيوف. ثم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم منزل الكتاب ومجري السحاب وهازم الأحزاب اهزمهم وانصرنا عليهم. متفق عليه. Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abi Awfa radiallahu anhu relates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was once on a campaign, and while waiting for the sun to set to perform Maghrib Salah, he stood up and addressed the Sahaba in this manner: do not provoke fighting and supplicate to Allah for protection and security. But when you are confronted by the enemy, then be steadfast. And remember that the paradise lies beneath the shadows of the swords. Then he supplicated, O Allah, O revealer of the book, driver of the clouds, vanquisher of the hosts, defeat these groups and sects and help us overcome them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو واسألوا الله العافية. Do not wish for the confrontation with the enemy. Meaning, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in the battlefield. So Rasulullah said, thought that some people might be making du'as that it's good if the enemies come, we're going to kill them and we're going to money and war booty and they were buzzed and buzzed up, hyped up. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take it easy, calm down, don't make du'as, don't wish for the enemies to come. In fact, ask Allah for afiyat, peace and security. Meaning Rasulullah didn't like war either. War was just due to a necessity. So if the other party, were ready for peace, Rasulullah would readily make peace with them. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't wish and pray for confrontation and fight and war and battle, because battle is no good. Number one, sometimes a person makes a wish for battle and makes dua, but when the enemy does come, then he gets a cowardice and then he runs away. So it is bad for him if he runs away and flees from the battlefield. Also, sometimes, the enemy is victorious. Rasulullah said in one place, Hum yunsarun kama tunsarun. Sometimes they are given victory like you gain victory as well. So who knows, you might be captured, you might be killed, you might be enslaved, imprisoned. So don't make dua for confrontation, rather ask Allah for afiyat. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyah wal-muwafat al-da'ima fi ad-din wal-dunya wal-akhirah. So he says, Salullah al-afiyah. Secondly, when you wish and you make dua, pray that the enemies come and we fight with them, then there is a little bit of, kibr, pride, haughtiness, amazement in the heart. You are thinking you are something. You are strong, you are powerful. And Allah doesn't like this amazement and pride and haughtiness. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't wish for confrontation and battle with the enemy. Be patient and ask Allah for afiyat. However, فَإِذَا لَقِيتُمُوهُمْ فَاصْبِرُوا. If the enemy does attack, then be patient. Then fight properly. Then don't run away. فَاصْبِرُوا. And وَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ الْجَنَّةَ تَحْتَ ظِلَالِ السُّيُوفِ. Know that Jannah lies beneath the swords, the shade of the swords. Where the swords are taken out of the sheath and the battle is taking place, so the shade of the sword falls. So go in the middle and midst of that battle and Jannah is there. Meaning then you have to be strong and you have to fight properly. Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha laqitum fiyatan fathbutu واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وأطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا تنازعوا فتفشلوا وتذهب ريحكم واصبروا إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تكونوا كالذين خرجوا من ديارهم بطرا ورئاء الناس ويصدون عن سبيل الله والله بما يعملون محيط. So Allah gave the instruction over there that if this type of battle does take place, then you have to be patient. However, you should not try and make tamanna and wish for battle because you might lose heart and you might flee and run away, you might get scared, or you have that proudy feeling in you which is no good for you. Don't feel proud and don't feel that haughtiness in you, because Sahaba, even in the battlefield, Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to keep quiet and they used to engage in battle with sukoon, itminan, tamaninat. So we have to be careful with regards to that as well. This is an adab and etiquette with regards to, sacrificing in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua, Allahumma munzil al-kitab wa mujri as-sahab wa azim al-ahzab ihdinhum wansurna alayhim. Oh Allah, you reveal this book, Quran Sharif, and you are so powerful that you drive the clouds from one place to the other. Now the clouds have millions of tons of water in them. Imagine when that water falls, heavy rain, we can't control it. We get floods. We get floods down south in Somerset, Gloucester, everywhere. So that water, where is come from? From the clouds. So Allah is so powerful, He controls those clouds which hold that water. So Rasulullah said, oh Allah, you reveal this book Quran and you drive the clouds from one place to the other, and you are the only one who can defeat the enemies and these groups. He is referring to the battle of Ahzab and trenches, and in the year 5th after Hijrah, Quraysh, and they gathered all the armies, assemblies and their allies, and they came with a huge army of 10,000 to crush Medina. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defeated them. So Rasulullah is indicating towards that you defeated those armies. So again we are asking you that this enemy which have come to attack us, protect us from them and give us victory over them. So this is how this hadith of فَإِذَا لَقِيتُمُهُمْ فَاصْبِرُوا comes to a close. Babu Sabr is finished now, and inshallah now we will be moving on to Babu Sidq. Next week we will move to Babu Sidq and pray from there, inshallah. May Allah accept our humble efforts and be pleased with us. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Allahumma lakal hamdu wa lakal shukr. Allahumma lakal hamdu wa lakal shukr. Allahumma la nuhsi thanaan alayka anta kama athnayta ala nafsik. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا وارزقنا واسترنا واجبرنا واهدنا وارفعنا إنا لما أنزلت إلينا من خير فقراء. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.